However, Paul, will be a focus of a lot of attention in the pits because, as you well know, this aging surface here at Milwaukee is the most abrasive racetrack that the Indy cars compete on, and because of that, the tires wear out quicker than they normally would. The tire wear is usually gone by after 50 laps. The pit stop window is longer than that. The right front and the right rear are the critical sides that all these crews are going to be monitoring. Let's go further on to pit road and Jack.
And Gary, you talked about that pit stop window, and Paul, you alluded to the fact that it should be about lap 68. Fuel is always a question on a 1 mile oval. Not running out of fuel, being able to manage it in a proper way so that you can make this race on only 2 stops. Conventional wisdom is to win, you need to stop only twice. But talking to a lot of the front runners earlier today, they're beginning to feel that if there's a lot of cautions, they'd rather play it closer to the vest and make it 3 stops. Track positioning so very important here at Milwaukee. We'll only have to wait and see whether it's a 2-stop race or a 3-stop event.
And the action on these miles comes fast and furious. Look at the men who have won their very first race here at this track, including Rick Mears, Jimmy Clark, the first rear engine win. This track stretches back to 1904. It was dirt in its early years, paved in 1954. A tremendous facility, and a long list of drivers, including Al Unser Jr. and Mario Andretti, scored their first oval win on this track. You're on board now with Nigel Mansell as we take again a look at some of the onboard cameras, and look at that crowd. It's a sellout here at Wisconsin State Fair Park. Looking backwards now from Ari Leyendijk's car, the pole sitter at Indy. Further back in the field here at Milwaukee, Al Unser Jr. well back in the field alongside of his teammate Danny Sullivan. Gigantic crowd. Look at this shot for Danny Sullivan. That's going to tell you something about who's moving on him. So we expect a wonderful day, especially with those pretty blue skies overhead. The field now beginning to form up as they head through the first turn, and look how flat this track is, but it's nice and wide, plenty of room to maneuver both on the track and in the pit area. The crews all now moving back away from the wall as they are ready to go racing. And Raul Boesel running very, very slow. Already some tactics beginning to play here on the start. Fittipaldi alongside, but Boesel really has taken the field down. Now he begins to pick the pace up as the pace car is clear in front of him. Fittipaldi follows alongside the front row, a little strained as they come toward the green flag. We'll keep an eye on the starter and see whether or not they decide to give it the green flag. Boesel was leading the field. No, they say no. Yellow flag. Lap will count. But they will not give that field a start because Raul was so far out in front and Fittipaldi was lagging.
That was just too much of a jump that he got, Paul. We can see that happening clear back on the back straightaway. Now, he'll only get a couple of tries at this. And now remember, the big penalty, though, is that everybody is using up fuel, precious fuel. And that's going to hurt him more than anything.
Bobby, I'm sure that he was remembering the way Emerson got the edge on the starts at Indianapolis a week ago and didn't want to let that happen again.
It's true, Sam, but boy, I'll tell you what, that was a big one that he was trying to get right there.
Wally Dallenbach, the chief steward, and Jim Swintow, the chief starter here, took a look at the field, didn't like its alignment. Will they like it this time? As up through the gears goes Raul Boesel. You saw a quick little twitch at the back end of the car as he started up through the gears. Now they look at the green flag again, and this time it's going to count as the field streams into one. And Raul's objective is accomplished as he moves to the front of the field and takes the lead. The Penske cars, Fittipaldi and Tracy battle back, but here comes Scott Goodyear moving to the outside while Mario moves down to the inside. Now Robbie Gordon on the charge. And Raul leads lap number 1 and does it easily. Across the line, Boesel, followed by Fittipaldi, then Scott Goodyear, then Robbie Gordon, then Paul Tracy, then Mario Andretti. Running alone in front, completing his second lap now, is Raul Boesel. He was so angry after the Indianapolis 500 last week. And now he wants to prove to everybody he's definitely a winner. And he could have beaten this man, Emerson Fittipaldi, at Indy.
You're seeing a guy out in front, Boesel, and a guy right there. Two of the guys that have more determination than any drivers I've seen for a long time. They're two stubborn human beings. Now, Boesel, leading the race right there, has really got an axe to grind. He's really mad at the racing world because they think, Paul, that they've treated him wrong in the penalties that he got at Indianapolis.
Scott Goodyear runs in third place, but closing on him quickly is Robbie Gordon, A.J. Foyt's young student. Goodyear won the Michigan 500 last year, scored his first pole at Phoenix this year, so he can handle the ovals and handle a mile. But so can Gordon, who is really showing his stuff this season. And the battle behind them as well, Mario Andretti and Paul Tracy. That is a fight for 5th place.
Tracy must drive a race which does not see him going into the wall. Paul Tracy is a marked man in the sense he's made several mistakes this year, and he can't make one today.
Nigel Mansell is in 7th place. Scott Brayton is 8th. 9th is Stefan Johansson. And 10th is Bobby Rahal. On board, Nigel Mansell, 7th place. Just ahead of him is Paul Tracy, and then Mario will ride and watch.
You can see the different grooves now that we're on board camera, Paul, as the guys go through the turns. You can see Nigel there Nigel doesn't have as much experience on ovals. So you can see, as we have the onboard camera with him, that he has a little bit different groove than the other guys do.
Not unlike Indy, Bobby, where he watched.
Car spinning. We saw a quick glimpse of somebody going sideways.
Oh.
Caught it on the onboard camera. And as they come around again, I'm sure we'll see it again. There it is, Stefan Johansson.
There's another guy without an awful lot of oval track experience, but a very good race driver driving for Tony Bettenhausen.
So the yellow is out, and very quickly, Stefan Johansson's day is over. He started just a year ago at Detroit, finished 3rd there. The leader, of course, is Raul Boesel at this moment. Last year, he started 11th and finished 10th here. It looks like this might hold a much better result. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC station. Milwaukee Mile, West Allis, Wisconsin, the state fairgrounds. We are under caution, our first of the day. The yellow came out when Stefan Johansson, driving in his first race here at Milwaukee, lost the back end and slid up against the wall. Raul Boesel jumped on the start, got a good start when the green flag finally came out on the second attempt at starting here, and got ahead of Emerson Fittipaldi. There you see Emerson, there's Scott Goodyear, and this is the way they will line up coming back to the green flag as soon as they clear the situation out in turn number 2 where Johansson got against the wall.
Well, Paul, he got into the wall coming off of turn 2. Again, Milwaukee's very flat. It's a very, very much of a handling racetrack. And it just looks like Stefan's rear end just got a little bit loose on the car and it came around. But it doesn't look like it was a real bad wreck. Unfortunately, he's a good driver and he's out of the race. You can see the rear tires on the car, how they contacted the wall and got bent out of shape a little bit.
He was out of the car, looking fine, leaning back against the wall, chatting with the course workers a few moments ago.
All right, they have the car up on the hook now. You remember Jack Arute mentioned that tires are key here. The selection of a racing tire is not limited to rain tires or slicks. Jack Arute takes it to look at the difference between scuffed and sticker.
All the racing tires that come from the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company are hand-built in their racing factory in Akron, Ohio. Now, once they're mounted on an IndyCar wheel, they still retain the manufacturer's sticker. That's why new tires, brand new tires, are called sticker tires. But teams throughout the course of practice sessions will scuff tires in, putting 3 to 5 laps on them. Now, why do they do that? One, they want to bring the tire up to full racing temperature to check the air pressure and allow the tire to cure and also create a footprint matched to the racetrack. Now, during the course of the race, they'll use these scuffs. But at Indianapolis, we saw some teams elect to go with brand new sticker tires. And here's why. The scuff tires that they had on hand were not performing well. They weren't getting the handling characteristics that were necessary for the ever-changing track conditions. So teams went with the stickers and rolled the dice in hopes that a sticker tire would perform better than the scuff tire.
Still clearing the situation over in turn 2 where Stefan Johansson's car got against the wall. His car owner, Tony Bettenhausen, is now with Gary Gerald.
Unfortunately, Tony, Long Beach, it was before really the start of the race, and here you barely get into it. And did you have a chance to talk to your driver at all when he got out of the car?
No, he called in his own yellow, though. You know, I heard him about the time we saw the yellow flag waved. We heard him say yellow, and he got out of the car apparently right at that time. So we don't know if it just got away from him coming off a 2 or what happened for sure.
I know there must be a lot of anxieties. Last week you're driving the car at Indianapolis. This week you're back on the role as car owner. You've only got 1 week before Detroit to make any necessary repairs. This is not an easy life being an owner or a driver, is it?
No, it's not. It's a little bit easier now when you're not having to have to worry about doing two things at one time. But, you know, we ran third last year at Detroit, and we're going to be back with the MX Penske there, and we got another car. We'll be fine.
We look forward to it. Thank you, Tony. Paul?
13 laps are now complete. We are still under yellow with Raul Boesel is leading Emerson Fittipaldi. We'll come back for the green flag, the restart here at the Milwaukee Mile right after this. Next Saturday on ABC Sports, it's the Pro Bowlers Tour rolling into Washington for the Seattle Open. Then on ABC's Wide World of Sports, top gymnasts go for the gold. It's the men's all-around final of the World Gymnastics Championships. Plus, the Advil Mini Marathon from New York City. And hold on to your handlebars as mountain biking goes extreme. That's all coming up next Saturday. Let's get an update on our current situation under caution. Here's Jack Arute.
Well, Paul, Stefan Johansson has made his way back to the CART Medical Center, headed by Dr. Terry Trammell. Just moments ago, I talked to Dr. Trammell. He said that Stefan Johansson is suffering from a bruised left knee. Not a big problem, but remember, Paul, that in testing in Phoenix, Stefan Johansson also had a problem where he hurt a couple of vertebrae in his back. So this guy's been banged up since the beginning of the season. Let's check in with Gary Gerald. Gary?
Jack, we're in the Nigel Mansell pit now. We checked with the crew. Nigel indicated the car a little bit loose, but he also said in the radio that he's not really hanging the car out here in the early going. Remember, this is his first time in competition on a 1-mile oval. He missed that adventure down at Phoenix because of a practice day crash. So it's a whole new experience from the big oval at Indy last week to this very hectic, very bumpy surface here at Milwaukee. Right now the car a little loose. They say he can live with it, however.
Mansell runs in 7th place at the moment. We're still under caution, though the indication is that yellow flag will disappear in just 1 lap. And again, Raul Boesel really slowing the car down. Bobby Unser, what is he thinking about?
Well, he's going a little bit too slow. And you got to remember a couple of things. One of the things important is he's never been in front of a race before as far as starting in the front. And the race is just brand new. He's never led a race. So he's doing something. He's trying to get away from the pace car to get a run so Emo doesn't get a shot at him at the lead. But he's going too far with it.
See the black car in the center of your screen? That's Robbie Gordon. He was 8th on the grid. He's running 4th now. He has improved dramatically in the few laps this race has been going on.
Oh, remember his run all the way from the back of the field on the mile at Phoenix.
Yes.
He was up contesting with the leaders within a very few laps. And now everyone concerned about the slow pace being set by Boesel is moving back and forth trying to get their tires up to speed. Raul Boesel's tremendous drive at Indianapolis has brought the Brazilian the praise and admiration of many and helped him make a name for himself.
I always be on the shadow of the big names, of the big Brazilian drivers, you know, Emerson, Piquet, Senna, and I always there knocking the door, but, you know, it's always a step behind. And I knew why all the time, because I didn't have the opportunity to show my potential, and so this now, you know, is a relief in a way that I have this opportunity, and all my life that I work for that I you know, the hard times that I had, the years with no ride, looking for a sponsor and so on, is paying off, and I hope this can be a snowball that keep getting bigger and bigger.
The indication, of course, was that they would have gone green on that last lap, but now they've decided they needed a lap more to get the track fully clear.
His closest moment of stardom came when he won the World Sports Car Championship for Jaguar in the late 1980s.
So now he begins to pick the pace up, looking for the 4th turn, looking for the green flag. And finally it comes. The green flag waves at the start-finish line. Boesel leads the field back. And they come single file with Paul Tracy trying to make a move to the inside of Gordon. Now that's just the oil dry that was laid down on the track as a result of Johansson's accident. Not a problem, that puff of what looked like smoke. Not a problem with the car.
Very exciting racing between these two young tigers, Tracy and Gordon, both 24 years old and very, very eager.
Ongoing battle for 4th place as Tracy closes down on the back end of Gordon. At the front of the field, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd are stretched out even. Here is the fight. Tracy looking for maneuvering room to the inside. Can't close on Gordon at this point, but they are closing down on Scott Goodyear right into